Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me tonight is Sal Segala, and we are here to review the NASCAR Cup Series at North Wilkesboro. The All-Star and Open controversies will be discussed. So, Sal, what are your thoughts, the overall thoughts of, let's start with the Open, your overall thoughts on the Open and then the All-Star race.
You know, I mean, the Open, it is what it is. You know, you have to go through that to get to the All-Star race. I just see a lot of things that in my own opinion, they could change with the Open. I think one thing they can get rid of is a fan vote. You know, I think what they should do with points. I think a point system would work. You know, where during practice, you know, and you go qualifying and all that, you earn points, and then of course, you know, they take so many drivers from the Open, and then I think the next person to go in should be the one with the set of points and put them in. But that's just my opinion on the Open. But Carson Hocevar, John Hunter Nemechek, they did put on a good race. Eric Jones, they're all fighting for it. But once again, you know, when it comes to the All-Star race, you know what, you're going to have, you know, the cream of the crop. You know, so basically you got all your A runners and your B runners. You know, your B runners trying to get in. But
well, there was a lot of bumping and banging, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, everybody wants to get in. I mean, you want a shot at that $1 million. You know, everybody wants it.
Why not?
Heck yeah. I mean, I don't blame them. I think they get rid of the fan vote and do something different.
I think the reason they do that though, Sal, is to engage fans.
Oh yeah.
That's the reason they do it. This is an exhibition race. It's all about the fans. And so the fan vote is about engaging those fans.
It's like Denny Hamlin, when he comes out, he gets booed. Like Kyle Busch used to. Now people like Kyle Busch. But now it's Denny Hamlin that gets booed everywhere he goes. You know, but I just think there's a lot they could do. Anyways, race, there was a lot of bumping and banging. Everybody wants to get in.
Yes.
You know, Carson Hocevar, you know, got in. John Hunter Nemechek, you know, but I mean, these guys were willing to wreck their own teammates, you know, to shoot for. But I mean, you're shooting for $1 million. I mean, you know, come on.
It's all on the line. That's right.
You're going for the money. This isn't a points race. Exactly. Huh? You're going for the money. So you're going for the money. So yeah, why wouldn't you wreck your team? But anyways, congratulations to Carson Hocevar, you know, for showing his peers, you know, that he had it done when he needed to get it done, you know, and get in there. And I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of drivers, the other 17 really weren't happy with them making it. But you know what? He went out there and he did what he had to do to get in there and take his shot at the $1 million.
All right. So let's talk about the All-Star race now. Any general thoughts you have about the All-Star race?
It was very eventful. You know, you feel bad for, you know, when a driver leads that many laps, especially when you got that much money on the line. You know, then you know, he finishes second. You got to feel bad for him, but there's things that I'm sure Joey could have done, you know, to put himself in the position. Knowing, you know, he knew Bell was going to run him. Joey, you have to know people are going to run you hard for that money, because this isn't a points race. It's not about the trophy. It's about that check. Yeah, you got to expect it. You know what? And NASCAR's going to let it go. They're not going to tighten down as much on the bumping and banging as they normally would. They're going to let it go, because this is, like you said, it's a fans race. It's an exhibition race. You know, it's like all the super late model races that I go to around the country that they're not points races. It's all about for the big check. And Chris Bell did what he had to do to, you know, to get that check. And Joey, like he said at the end, if I'd have caught him, he would have been in the wall. I would have spun him. But you know what, Joey, you didn't catch him.
You didn't catch him. So yeah. He's the only person I know that could say everything he said with a smile on his face.
I know that guy he's angry, but he has a smile.
Yes, he does. Okay, now Christopher Bell outdueled Joey Logano for his first career NASCAR All-Star win. Fireworks lit up the sky and smoke billowed from the tires of the number 20 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota as Christopher Bell celebrated his first victory in the NASCAR All-Star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway on Sunday night. Now, Bell climbed from his car to a standing ovation. Scratch that, virtually everyone in the packed grandstands already had been standing for the final 28 laps of that green flag run as Bell battled Joey Logano side by side, and he finally cleared last year's winner for the lead on lap 241 of the 250 laps. Now, Christopher Bell won that All-Star race on Saturday night. It's his first All-Star win, and Joey Logano finished second, followed by Ross Chastain, Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch, Chase Briscoe, and Chris Buescher. Logano led the most laps on the night, but stayed on track during the final caution flag, while Bell came in and took 4 tires. Now, Bell took the lead from Logano with 9 laps remaining and pulled away for that win. Chevrolet won the manufacturer's showdown. The race consisted of 250 laps with an all-star caution and a promoter's caution that came in on lap 217. Drivers that advanced from the Open to the All-Star race were Carson Hocevar, John Hunter Nemechek, and Noah Gragson won the fan vote to get into the race. I was so disappointed for Ryan Preece when he missed the choose cone and ended up getting a penalty, because I think he was in line to win that race had that not happened, had he not gotten that penalty.
His fault.
Yeah, it was his fault. There's no doubt about it. But it was a disappointment, I'm sure. There were 18 lead changes among 8 drivers, 5 cautions for 32 laps. And it was a pretty exciting race throughout. The fastest lap bonus went to Joey Logano on lap 8 at 18.583. And it was an exciting race from start to finish. Good old short track racing, if you will. And it was an exciting finish.
Yeah, it was. And, I felt, like I said, I felt bad for Joey. I felt bad for Brad. Brad had that hard hit.
Yes.
Took him out. You know what? I mean, I understand Kyle Larson. You know what? He's going to be doing the Indy 500. He said he's good on dirt. But, man, they just really overemphasized Kyle Larson in this race. And where did he finish? He wasn't
Kyle
even,
Larson? He finished 21st.
No, he did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
21st.
during the race, they kept emphasizing, look at Kyle. Here he comes. Here he comes. He's going to make a run at it. He's going to make a run at it. And actually, Chastain made it exciting. Alex Bowman made it exciting. And congrats to Kyle Busch, who finally got a top 10. Too bad it wasn't a points race, because that top 10 would have really helped him in the points. But once again, Chris Bell and Joey Logano, they really made it one heck of a race. And Joey should just, I know you want the $1 million, but you know what? Just take it for what it is and move on. And you know what? And it's a fans race, but then also, when you put $1 million on the line, these guys are going to do anything to try and snatch that money up.
Yes, they are. And the margin of victory for this race was 0.829 seconds. Yeah, you had to feel for Joey Logano, but at the same time, I feel like Bell did what he had to do. And I don't think he did anything all that bad. Logano was still in the race. He finished in second place. He didn't take him out. I think he did short track racing, and Joey Logano came out on the bad side of it. And I understand his frustration. I think he was more frustrated by the fact of the promoter's caution, and that it kind of took away his commanding lead that he had and made it a closer event. So I think he was more upset about that.
And that's what it was the promoter's caution. I mean, once again, NASCAR tried to do something, and then they throw the caution so late. They should have tried to do it a little bit earlier than doing it that late.
Yeah.
The promoters, but I don't even think they should even have. I mean, I know they're starting to add these little things into it, and I think they just stop adding those little things into the race and just let it be the all-star race that it used to be. I was glad that that it changed venues. It was really awesome. They came to the historic,
Yes.
North
North Wilkesboro.
Wilkesboro, a track that hadn't been run in a while. Even Kevin Harvick and Dale Earnhardt Jr. They're talking about the way it's seasoned and all the different things about the about the track, and I thought that was really awesome. All the history and all the different things they talked about it, and
Yes.
and I hope the NASCAR would look to it and say, hey, you know what, maybe we'll think about adding it to the schedule next year. After all, we don't have no more Fontana. Fontana's out because they're not ever going to build that track back. So you have that spot. So why not put North Wilkesboro in that? I'm not saying in that race weekend.
Right. But give them a race. Yeah.
Exactly. And the fans will come.
Yep, the fans will come.
Weekend. The fans will come, and that's what you want to do. Put fans in the seat, and you want to keep them coming.
Yep.
All in all, who is the highest finishing rookie in that?
Well, there's only Shane Van Gisbergen and Riley Earps, and I don't think either one of them made it into the All-Star
neither
race.
one of them made it. Matter of fact, they were. No. I think they had issues in the open race, but
I think so. I felt bad for Ryan Preece again. I know he's kicking himself at this point over that happening. I wish the spotter would have told him to move up sooner, knowing that choose cone thing was coming up quickly on him. And I think he did try to move up. He just moved up too late in order to make that choose cone. They had the orange line on the wall to kind of help drivers know that choose cone is coming up. But he said he just misjudged it and he couldn't really see it. And they did paint it in between the races to make it more visible. Anyway, there were some good things. I thought it was an exciting finish, but there were some drivers that had some incidents. You mentioned Daniel Suarez actually had an accident on lap 65, unfortunately. That did take him out of the race. And Brad Keselowski, you mentioned his wreck. He had an accident that was lap 176 that he went out of the race. And so it was unfortunate. But I thought we saw some good racing throughout the field. We didn't really Carson Hocevar made it in. I know John Hunter Nemechek was happy to make it in. He was excited about racing for that $1 million. But in the end, he ended up in 19th place. Hocevar finished in 11th. And Noah Gragson, the fan boat driver, finished in 13th place. So that's the results of the three drivers that advanced from the Open. But do you think how long will Joey Logano carry that? Because he seems pretty upset after the race. How long do you think he'll carry that?
Now, come next week, it'll all be forgotten.
It'll be over.
That was I said on winning the 600.
Yep. We don't really have any updates to the points report for this week, Sal, because this wasn't a points-paying race. So is there anything else you want to say before we continue on here?
I'm really curious what they do with that money. What they do with the check.
Well, they're going to take it home and put it in the bank. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I know. That thing's going straight to the bank.
Knowing Christopher Bell, he was very, very happy with his crew.
Oh, no.
It wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't share some of that with his crew.
Oh, yeah, probably. $1 million, you could afford to give. There's 4 guys. So you give them each $50,000. That's only what? 51. That's only $200,000. You still have $800,000 left. And that's showing appreciation. Even $25,000, they would appreciate. You give out $100,000 to the crew. to the crew guys, and I mean, they would appreciate that. But I'm positively sure that they're going to get, that it gets tossed around to everybody on the 20 team. Everybody gets a chunk of it.
A share of it.
And of course, a share of it. And then, of course, Chris, he'll probably get the biggest share out of it. Or actually, he won't get it. His wife will get it because she was the one down there all screaming and yelling for it. So I'm sure
she was happy for her man.
Well, we'll see in the coming weeks if she has a big old ring, or if they have a new house, or if she's driving a Ferrari, or or if he's just Chris Bell, which he probably will be. He's the most humble, one of the humble drivers out there.
Well, congratulations to Christopher Bell. I'm happy for him and his wife.
It couldn't happen to a nicer driver.
Okay,
he's just so mellow and so. You never see him mad. He's like Joey. Joey smiles at everything. Yeah, Joey smiles at everything, and Chris never gets upset. He doesn't really show.
I'll tell you what. I think he ran a very smart race, and I'll talk more about that in our Hot Topic Sound Off tonight. But I was watching the end of that race, and I was marveling at how smart Christopher Bell was in those closing laps. I thought he ran a very smart race.
Yeah, he did. He ran a perfect race. He did what he had to do. He made the moves when he had to make them. And you know what? And he saved his car, and he took that chance by doing by coming in and pitting, taking those tires. I was surprised. I thought Joey was going to come in too.
Yeah, a lot of people were surprised that he didn't. But do watch for more coming soon here to Fan for Racing Radio. We are finished with all of our reviews for the weekend, so they will be up hopefully tonight. And then later on tonight at 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific Time, we are going to have our live stream of our Hot Topic Sound Off. And Sal, it sounds like you need to join us tonight for Hot Topic Sound Off, because you got something to say about everything.
I know. My wife's on her way home, and when she gets home, that's when the everything gets shut down.
Oh, okay.
That's what I turned into. That's when I turned into puppy mode.
Oh, okay. I want to see that. Okay, now I'll tell you what. So watch for our NASCAR Hot Topic Sound Off later on tonight. We also have our previews at the end of the week for the upcoming weekend of racing out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. All 3 NASCAR series plus 2 ARCA races this weekend for the ARCA Menard Series at Charlotte and the ARCA West out of Colorado National this weekend. So we've got 5 races coming up over the weekend. It's going to be a big weekend of racing along with the Indianapolis 500. So if you're a racing fan, this is the weekend for racing. So do not miss it. And then, of course, thank you for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. We will be back later on tonight for the Hot Topic Sound Off, so stay tuned for that. Anything more you want to say, Sal, before I let you go? Or do you want to keep this going?
No, I'm fine. It was thank everyone for listening, and next week is a big race, 600 miles.
600 miles.
Season, so.
Yep, looking forward to it.
It's race this weekend. You got the Formula One, you got Indy 500, and you got the Coca-Cola 600. So make sure
and we get to watch Kyle Larson race 2 of them.
And have that coffee pot ready to keep you awake.
That's right. That's right. All right, everybody. We'll see you in our NASCAR Hot Topic Sound Off segment coming up later tonight. Take care and have a good week.